some of our other videos, we've gone over a technique called the Shen balancing technique. Well, we're going to go over it in a little more detail as it applies to healing oneself and helping increase blood flow, chi flow, help to heal sick organs and injuries, and even just help suppress pain or remove pain in general. We start with a finger position that looks like this. Okay, the index finger and the middle finger come together, and then the other three fingers touch. And we do that with both hands. And we start, it doesn't matter whether it's right over left or left over right, or you're male or female, it's done whichever way is more comfortable. So you can start this way or you can start this way, doesn't matter. And I'm just going to go over the movements to start with. And the movements will start from here, and then we'll slowly change position to the opposite hand being on top. Then we'll make a small circle. Doesn't matter whether it's clockwise or counterclockwise. It is irrelevant because that's not how this technique works. So doesn't matter which direction that you circle in. You circle about 3 to 5 times, something to that effect. And then we're going to take the two fingers and slide them into, locking into the other hand. We're going to squeeze for a second and release. And that's the mechanics of the technique. And how the technique works is it aligns particular meridians in the body and allows you to tap into the Shen energy, the spiritual energy of the body, and manipulate it out on the energy matrix level. So it affects large things like injuries or mental hang-ups or emotional hang-ups by affecting the subtle energies that govern them. And so the small and subtle affect the large and physical. Okay? So I'll do the whole technique now, and then I'll back up and explain it. Okay, so now that you've seen the technique and you know how to do it, what is it exactly that we're doing? And what we're doing is we're aligning the meridians to pull up enough chi energy, particularly Shen type of chi energy, to affect the body in a healing type of way. Helps to remove mental hang-ups, emotional hang-ups, spiritual hang-ups, and even physical problems. Like, for example, let's say you have low back pain. This is how you would use the Shen balancing technique to help alleviate your back pain. And it's just this easy. Do not look any more into it. It is not some hugely complex thing. Okay? It is very short and simple. That's all. This is all there is to it. If you have back pain, you do this, give it a few minutes to work, and you may have to do it again. You know, and sometimes if it's something that's really bad, like if it's been there for 30 years, don't expect it to go away in 30 seconds. However, you know, in a couple of minutes, maybe 10 minutes, something like that, you should notice some alleviation. And so you do it again. And so you do this every day on those problems to help eliminate them. And you'll be amazed at the power of this simple little technique. We use it for all kinds of things. It's almost like the heart and soul of the Shun Tao system. So in this case, using it for healing of the self, let's say that I have low back pain, okay, and maybe even my hips and legs are weak as a result of that, or my back is weak. I want to imagine, and it's probably not too hard to imagine if you have it, you know, what that feels like. I want to just kind of get in touch with that. So I want to imagine that. That's all I have to do is I hold my hands out in the ready position, and I imagine what it is that I want to affect. And that's it. I've already set the stage. I don't have to think of anything else. I don't want to think about energy coming in or fixing anything. I do not want to do any of that. All I want to do is think about what it is that I want fixed. I do not have to think about it being fixed or do any kind of other mental imagery. I have set the tone. That's it. So, I'm imagining having back pain of some sorts, and I simply, as I'm imagining it, I'm not changing anything in my mind. I'm simply just moving my hands. And right now, I can feel my back getting very warm, even though the technique is done. Now the energy is doing its job, and I can feel my back getting really warm, and I can feel some of the deeper muscles starting to unbind. And so this example is applicable in almost an infinite amount of ways. Anything that you can think of. Okay, I just did my bad back. Okay, I might wait a couple minutes and do it again. Or I could do something else. Like, for example, I'll show you, a little bit later how to strengthen the back against this problem of tension or whatever reoccurring. But let's take a look at what I just did. Is I basically neutralized the negative patterns that were holding my back in a painful posture simply by doing the technique. Let the technique do the work. I cannot emphasize on that enough. It is just as easy as I've shown you. It takes no skill whatsoever. That's why it's Shun Tao, the easy way. So with the Shen technique, we can use this to neutralize patterns. Okay, and so we start by neutralizing the negative pattern before we do any kind of installation or enhancement. We want to make sure that we've cleared out every bad thing we can think of or associate with before we install any kind of good patterns. That would be like recording your favorite television show over top of some other kind of television show that you've already taped on a videotape. It doesn't look, the quality has gone down, rather than wiping the tape clean and going back and recording something on a clean tape. You've got static or fuzz. It's just like writing on a piece of paper. If I've written something on a piece of paper, I would like to completely erase it before I write something else in its place. Otherwise, you kind of get mixed signals and mumbo jumbo looking stuff, and that's not very helpful to what it is that we're trying to accomplish. So we make sure that we neutralize all negative patterns first. Okay, and there's a couple of ways to do that, but you just intuitively, you'll kind of know, whether or not it's all gone. Like right now, I can really not feel a lot of problems at all in my back. It feels really loose. So because I really don't have any back problems to speak of, so other than just maybe day-to-day tension. So that cleared out relatively quickly. So now I will install patterns of protection against that. And so I see my back in my mind, so I imagine my back being very strong and impervious to tension and to damage, these kinds of things. Or anything else that you choose, okay? Being just impervious to that. And now I imagine that it getting stronger. I don't have to imagine, like see it getting stronger. I just know that by moving my hands, this will make it stronger. And then I move my hands. And right now, the energies begin to create strength in the back. I make my circle, same thing. I have not changed the technique one bit, except now I know that I want to strengthen my back as opposed to before I wanted to heal my back. That's it. Lock it into place, squeeze and release. And now I can feel the energies starting to move on my back again. And so what they're doing, I have no idea, but I don't have to know either, other than the fact that I know that they are doing some kind of work to strengthen it against any kind of reoccurring tension